Hi everyone, I'm Eggfur and thank you for being here today. And today we are going to look at this, which is a villager trading hall. I've got a little friend following me. I'm going to call him Claude. So Claude is following me around. We're going to look at this villager trading hall, and do not underestimate how useful these things are. You might be thinking, oh well, maybe I'm not quite ready for one of these, or they're a bit too much effort to build. Well, this one's super simple to build. It was going to give you really, really great discounts, and you will be able to get a lot of stuff very, very cheaply. Let me give you some examples. So this chap here will be selling me a mending book for 1 emerald. If I go along to my armourer, you can see I've been trading with them, but these trades would normally be open. I can get diamond leggings. At the moment he's selling them for 2 emeralds, but I can get that down to 1 emerald as well. Diamond chest plate, so that's all your armor sorted. I've got another one here selling me the boots with enchantment, diamond again, more chest plate. So with these two guys, and maybe you got one with leggings and boots and one with chest plates and helmets, you pretty much never need to go looking for diamonds again, because we've also got a toolsmith. And a toolsmith will sell you a diamond axe, a diamond pickaxe with enchantments. We've got a cleric who will sell you bottles of enchanting. Which is pretty cool stuff, really. Right, who have we left over here? This is the cartographer. So my cartographer will sell me, for a compass and 1 emerald, will sell me a woodland explorer map. So if you wanted to know where those woodland mansions are, this is how you get it. You buy one of these maps from this guy, and that will tell you where you find your woodland mansion. So, it opens up huge amounts of game. It means you're spending a lot less time hunting around to try and find diamonds. And I really hope this thing is going to be great for you. So let's get into the build now. You know what, before we get into the build, I should show you the key feature of this trading hall. And it's definitely not original. There are other people who have these trading halls. What I've not seen is a good tutorial for one. But what this does is it will automatically zombify your villagers ready for curing, which means that you can get those discounts. And the mechanics changed in a recent release of Minecraft, which used to be able to just have one zombie and a villager in the middle, and you'd zombify that villager and cure him, and you'd get discounts for everybody. Well, that doesn't work anymore. You will get some discounts, but they'll be temporary. They'll go back up again. So you need to zombify and cure every villager, and this system will do it for you automatically, quickly, and you will end up with great discounts. So one last thing, do not build this if you cannot go into hard mode. So if you're on a server or you're in a friend's world and they won't allow you to go into hard mode, or you just don't want to go into hard mode on your own world, then don't bother building this, because when you try and zombify and cure the villagers, half the time they will die on normal mode, and if you're on easy, they will die 100% of the time. There. Look at my trousers. Right, so yeah, just make sure you go into hard mode or it won't work.
Okay, so let's dive straight in.
Bedrock! So you need to decide where you're going to build your trading hall, and I found some open space here. It's way bigger than we actually need, so I'm going to do a fairly small trading hall to start with. So it's going to have 8 villagers in, but it's quite nice to have some room to expand that later. The really important thing is to make sure that you're at least 100 blocks away. It's actually technically 96, but 100 blocks away to be safe from any other villager tech. So that means villagers themselves, workstations, beds, bells. So this tower you can see in the distance is actually my villager breeder, and I'm probably 180, 200 blocks away from that. And this is my advanced trading hall down here, and we'll have a quick look at that later, but at the moment it is empty. There are no villagers or workstations in there. So this is a perfectly safe place to start building. and let's have a look at what we're going to need. So I'm not going to talk through all of this, because it's really boring when I do that. But just to say, I'm using snow. You can use any kind of block you like. Same for the slabs. It is possible if you're going to build this inside a building, that you can replace most slabs with trapdoors, but we'll talk about that later. And the pickaxe and the shovel are for digging, and the spawn egg is to represent we need a zombie. You will need preferably a diamond sword. It's not actually critical, but it'd be good to have that. And the stuff on the bottom row is actually once we finish the build and we want to start getting our villagers into the trading hall, this is additional stuff that we'll need. So feel free to pause the video, take a good look, record what you need to record, and we'll get on with the build. So I've grabbed everything I need from the chest, and we're going to start off by doing some digging. So when you're positioning this, the only thing I'd say is try to make sure you don't end up your villager and its workstation in separate chunks. So if you're going to have a villager here and a workstation there, make sure that this line along here isn't a chunk boundary. You'd be pretty unlucky to get that, but just try to make sure. Right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to build a little trench, and it's going to be 3 blocks wide. And actually I'm going to do it in survival. It's always better to show you build in survival, I think. So 3 blocks wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 long. Back along here. And I'm actually going to make this 2 deep. And I'm going to do it all the way back. I'm going to fill all of this out. Oh, sorry, dig all of this out. And I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so here we are. We're back at the corner where we started. And we've got a trench that's 2 deep. And over on this side, I'm going to lay down a powered rail, a normal rail, 2 powered rails, and then I'm going to have normal rail going all the way along to here. Then a powered rail. I want to dig out 2 more. Where's my shovel gone? 2 more blocks just here and here. And I'm going to put a final powered rail just there. A torch above that to power this, and the right hand one of these 2, a torch above that to power that as well. So we don't need to power this one just yet, we'll sort it out later. I am going to just dig that out for now, and then we're going to do a bit more digging, and we're going to dig down 3 deep down here. That's 1, 1, 2, do this first. We're going to dig down here. Where's my pickaxe? And go 3 deep all the way back along to the end. So I'll see you once I've done that. Okay, so there we go. That's that dug. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to come 2 blocks away from here. And I'm going to place redstone dust. I'm going to run it all the way along until I am 2 blocks away from the end of here as well. And then just there, I need a repeater, followed by a solid block. And we've been digging out loads of dirt, so I've got plenty of that around. And we're going to put a blob of redstone on top of there. And we're going to dig out this block here with some redstone on top of that. So this redstone is actually going to power the rail. And on this rail, we're going to have a zombie in a minecart. He's going to go backwards and forwards, and he's going to zombify our villagers when we tell him to. Okay, back over this end. And up here, so at as if it was sitting on the ground, that level, we want a block here. It can be any block you like. Again, it won't be seen from above. And we're going to do a block and a torch, a block and a torch, We're going to do that 8 times. There we go, that's 8 times. And then if I come back under here, so underneath this first torch, come down 1 block, 2 blocks to here. And we're going to place another block there with a torch on it, redstone torch. And we're going to do the same thing, coming all the way back along here, 8 times. And you'll notice as we've been laying those down, putting those torches on, that lit up this redstone dust here. That's lit up this repeater here. This torch, however, is lighting up the redstone dust in front of the repeater. And that's because we can't run a redstone line all the way from that end up here without a repeater. So we need that to be there. And this torch will light up the same line, but just after the repeater. So it doesn't make a difference. We get our rail lit anyway. Okay, so pop back up here. And I think we are ready probably to come out for now. And what I want to do is I want to put redstone dust on top of the bottom blocks and the top blocks all the way along. And what I'll do is I'll turn off the torches on the bottom row. Oops. And it'll mean that that line of redstone dust down there, once we've turned off all of these torches, will go off. Since I'm here, I may as well do it from there. That's it. And redstone dust on top of these as well. There we go. So now that redstone line at the bottom should be off, and it is. That means our rail is off. And pop out of here. I'm going to come round and we're going to start laying down some pistons. So I want my pistons to be opposite these torches, and they're going to be facing upwards. So I have one there, one there, one there, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. And then we come on to slabs, and against each piston, I want to put a slab. This is, oops. Check that. These are going to be essentially the floor for our villager cell. So along with the piston. There we go. And then on top of this redstone dust, we're going to put a solid block. We're going to come forwards another 2. So that's a line of 3. And the same on top. So we've got a wall that's 2 high, 3 long, going from front to back of the villager cells, and that's going to hold them in place and keep them separate from each other, and safe as well from monsters. And do that all the way along. That one and this one. And also put a line of 3 along here. That's kind of our edge. Come back around to the front. So this is where I said you could use trapdoors. I'm going to use slabs because I've got this built outside. Slabs are useful because when a villager is standing on this this piston here, their head is behind the slab partly, and any monsters won't be able to see them. So if there are zombies or worse still pillagers, skeletons who would try and attack the villagers with arrows, then they can't actually do it because they can't get a line of sight on the villagers if there is a slab here. It actually looks nicer if you use a trapdoor, but you then need to build a building around your trading hall to keep the villagers safe. Okay, and one on this side as well. And once that's there, that means that we can then put in another set of blocks here. Like that, to make our final wall. And we'll keep this open for the time being, because we'll need that later. Come back round here and go up on top. And we're going to lay down 1, 2, 3 to make a roof on each of the cells. Then in the middle one, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 that side as well. So in this middle one, put another 3 blocks down, and then take your bed and pointing towards the front of the build, on the middle block here, place your bed so its pillow is over there. The reason I'm placing the bed here and not somewhere else is that A, it means my villagers won't be able to get to it. I don't want to be able to get up and sleep in that bed. So if I put it here, for example, they'd be able to sleep in it. And I also want it to be in the same chunk as the villagers, ideally. So if you are crossing a chunk border anywhere along here, it might be useful to put an extra bed in. So for each chunk, have a bed. But for me, 1 is okay up there for now. And we're getting pretty close to being done, to be honest. Workstations got to go here. We're not going to put them in yet because we want to wait for our villagers to be in place first. And we need to put a back on here. But actually, this is how I'm going to get my villagers in to their little cells. So I'm going to leave that for the time being. And we're going to light it up as well. But again, I want to leave that till later because we've got a very important job now. And this is probably one of the trickier parts of the build. We need to get a zombie in a minecart onto this block here. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to replace this here. And I'm going to start to lay with my spare rails. Let me go and grab those. Grab all the rest of the stuff. So with my rails, I'm going to lay down a rail here, run that along there. Along here, put a powered rail there, some more rails along here, powered, a couple more rails, a powered rail, a solid block, and then take one of your levers and pop that on here. Then the minecart can go on this rail just there. Now we need to go and get ourselves a zombie, and we don't want any old zombie. We would like a zombie who is going to hold a diamond sword, and we need that because that means that they can kill the villager quicker. It takes 2 hits of a diamond sword to kill a villager. If they've got anything else, an iron sword for example, or no sword at all, it will take more hits, and the minecart will have to go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards until we have zombified our villager. So a diamond sword is a great thing to give to him because then it has to go backwards and forwards 1 time. So a lot more efficient. If you can't be bothered, you haven't got a diamond sword, you have got a diamond sword but you don't want to give it to a zombie, that's also fine. It will just take longer. Okay, so if you are going to try and find a zombie who will carry a diamond sword, well, first of all, we have to do it at night. And second of all, be on hard mode because the chances of finding a zombie who will pick up something on hard mode is much higher. The other thing about using a zombie who will pick up items is that once they've picked something up, they won't despawn. So they will stay happily in their minecart forever. And if they are not a zombie, they haven't picked anything up, sorry, if they're not a zombie who's picked something up, they can despawn unless you name tag them. So you will also need a name tag. So I definitely advise, give them a diamond sword if you can. If you can't give them a diamond sword, give them another kind of sword. Okay, before we go off monster hunting, let me just power those extra rails there with 2 of our levers for the time being. Okay, and now I'm going to go and find myself a zombie. Okay, so I found myself a zombie. I've given him a sword, and I am now trying to lure him back as safely as I can to where my trading hall is, watching out for creepers as I go. I've actually given myself strength, so I'll just finish him off quickly. Okay, we want the zombie to come over here and along here, because then we're going to put him into that minecart. He'll go all the way around and he'll drop down into our hole just here. And that is perfect. So now we can clear away all of this stuff with the blocks and the levers. We don't need any of that. So I'll finish off doing that and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so we've got our zombie. We're going to put, actually, let's not put a lid on him yet. Let's put one of our levers just here and we'll show you this working. So when I pull that lever, it should drop down the piston and my minecart should set off. And there we go. See, the piston's gone down. The minecart set off. And when I pop it back up, next time the zombie comes back, he will stop just there. That's perfect. Right, let's put a lid on him. I mean, this guy's wearing a helmet, but otherwise he'd burn in the sun. So now he is completely safe. And we can put the rest of our levers along the front of the build. And also, we can now go and light it up a bit. So, I mean, you can light it up how you want, but I'm going to do it this way. And one over here. And we'll do the same at the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. That's all our torches used up. So all we have to do now is guess our villagers. Right, so we'll get our villagers in a moment, but before we do that, I just want to show you the differences between my simple trading hall and my advanced trading hall. So you can make a decision whether you want to build that or this. And this one has a number of different features. So let's quickly walk through those. You can see that I've got these little cells. They're pretty much the same. Here I've got a button. And what that button does is it lights up this redstone line and it sets off this minecart, and the minecart goes off to my villager breeder, picks up a villager, brings him back, runs him along this rail line, and automatically drops him into the first empty cell. So in terms of loading your villagers, which we're going to try and do with the other one in a moment, this is automatic, fully automatic. So whenever there's an empty cell, that's where your next villager will get dropped in. It also has exactly the same zombifying mechanism, so this one, where it'll drop down the villager and a zombie will go past the minecart. But it also has a mechanism for re-rolling trades. So if you know that you want to get, say, a mending book from a librarian, he might not have the mending book as his first trade straight away, and it will take quite a long time to find it. And if you're breaking the lectern and putting it back and breaking it and putting it back, it's a real pain. So by using this lever here, it will automatically re-roll the trades of the villager until you've traded with them, of course, and then you lock it in. So the observer here is just to detect whether there's a villager in here. It lights up the light and ensures that the next villager that comes along doesn't get dropped in here, but will get dropped into an empty cell. Anything else to tell you about this? Yeah, there's a emergency shut off. So you see all these trapdoors. I pull a lever, the trapdoors come down. That's if you've left the door open and you know, a raid happens, pillagers start streaming in. You can, in an emergency, pull a lever, and all your villagers will be completely safe. So that's the advanced one. If you you know, prefer to hang on for the tutorial for that, it's probably going to be a couple of weeks, to be honest. But it is pretty cool if you're going for you know, something a bit more later game, a bit more advanced. But if you are just want something simple to get you yourself really good trades for villagers, then this will absolutely do the job. Okay, so just a small matter of getting our villagers into our trading hall now. And obviously anything with villagers is always enormously difficult. But we're going to make it as simple as possible. So, you remember I left the backs open. I said left them open to get the villagers in. And this is the way they're going to come. In a minecart, along this rail. And we place it in front of this piston here, coming back towards us. And then you've got a number of choices. You link this up to your villager breeder, if you've got one. You take it to a village, if you've got a village, just sort of 100 odd blocks away. Or you could even, if you're feeling brave, just go out at night, find some zombie villagers and bring them along, trap them in a minecart. But whatever you do, you're going to end up with a minecart here with a villager in it. And we're going to give that minecart a little shove until it falls off the back of the rails here. And now I'm going to place a trapdoor just there. And what that trapdoor does is it means I can get in and out. I can break my minecart. I can go and pick it up. But the villager's trapped. He's a little bit taller than me, so he can't get past here. So now, break your rails. Pick those up. And we'll lock him in with a block here. Break the trapdoor. And then you've got a choice. You can either use a slab here if you want. And that means you can trade with him from either the front or the back of the build. Or you can use a solid block. It's kind of up to you. I'm going to put a slab there. Okay. Let's come back around the front. So here is our villager. And at this stage, he has no profession. Or he's a Fletcher, actually, because I spawned him in. But if he's come from a villager breeder, he'll have no profession. But he's got no profession that's locked. So we can still change his profession to anything we want because he hasn't been traded with. Okay, so maybe I want a Fletcher, I don't know. But I think maybe I want a librarian. So I can turn him into a librarian just by putting down a Lexan. And he will, in a moment, change. There we go. So he's now become a librarian. But his trade is still not locked. So until I trade with him, he could still change his profession. And what I would strongly recommend is when you bring your villagers in, do them one at a time. And always make sure you've traded with them before you bring the next one in. And that they're linked to the block, the workstation in front of them here. Okay, so if you do that, you're going to find this a lot easier. If you don't, you'll find that you'll have multiple villagers with no fixed profession. They'll be trying to steal each other's blocks. You'll be trying to zombify them and bring them back to villagers. They'll lose their connection to their workstation. It'll be a mess. Don't do it. So one at a time, make sure you've got them locked into a trade and they're linked to their block before you do anything else for any other villager. Okay. So I haven't traded this guy yet, and I don't particularly need to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zombify him. So there we go. He is now a zombie villager. And the next job is to cure him again. So to cure a zombie villager is typically always the same thing. You've got to give them weakness, and then you've got to feed them a golden apple. But the standard way of giving them weakness is to throw a weakness potion at them. And you see the little sparklies coming off him now. Then I can give him a golden apple by left-clicking on him. He starts to fizzle. And this will take a little while, but he will turn back into a villager. And I'll come back once he's come back. Okay, there we go. He's come back. And he's linked to his workstation again. So if I click on him now, you'll see that I've got a discount now. He's selling 18 paper for an emerald. So that's pretty good. And if I want to get even bigger discounts, then I'll have to zombify him a few more times. So we're going to do that, and I'll show you the other way of curing a zombie. So there we go. He is turned into a zombie. And what we can do on Bedrock, this is actually a really cool feature, is I can place down a cauldron and I can put in some weakness potions into there. So we're going to put in 1, 2, 3 weakness potions, fill it up. And then I'm going to get some plain old ordinary arrows. And I'm going to click on there. And what I end up with is arrows of weakness. So now, if I get a bow, if I'm a good enough shot, I can give this guy weakness using my arrow. And that means for 3 potions, I get 64 arrows. So it's a much more efficient way of doing it, as long as you can afford a cauldron. And that'll cure us 64 villagers, or, 1 villager many times. So now given the apple, I might have done it too slowly. There we go. It's better. So yeah, don't worry about hitting them with an arrow. It's it will damage them, but actually when they convert back to a villager, they get all of their health back anyway. So you don't need to worry about it really. And he's back. He's linked to his workstation. Let's have a look at his trades. So now he's gone down to 12 paper for an emerald. That's pretty good. But actually, he's not selling me an enchanted book, and I'd like to have an enchanted book down at this level 2. He hasn't got that. So the way I can get around that is I can... where's my pickaxe gone? Not the pickaxe is really the right thing anyway. But I can break his lectern, pick it up, place it again. He'll relink. Has he done it? No, not yet. I hope he's going to relink to it. Oh, he's linked to the cauldron. Right. Let's go to that cauldron. Okay, so that's kind of what I meant about making sure you only do one thing at a time. So now he's a librarian again, and he's actually selling me Depth Strider. And he's also got another enchanted book here. And I can get Depth Strider for 1 emerald and a book at the moment. His trades might go up a little bit after a while because he's just been cured. But if they do, you can cure him again to get them back down to 1 emerald. And eventually they'll become permanent. So maximum of 5 cures is what you need. Typically I found 3 or 4 is usually enough to get down to 1 emerald trades. But it will depend on the villager. Okay, so yeah, so I might be quite happy with that. If I'm not, then I'm trying to think if I got a sticky piston on me. No, let me grab a sticky piston. Okay, so I've grabbed a sticky piston, and what I can do is I can place it down here. I can place a, let's grab a lever. I can place a lever on it, and then I can do this. And every time I do that, he will change his trades. I can check where his new trades are. Piercing 4, that's pretty good. And another enchanted book. Maybe I don't want piercing 4. I can do it again. That's a bookshelf. I don't want that. That's another bookshelf. Let's try one more time. Another bookshelf. Okay. So actually bookshelves are quite useful because you can buy a bookshelf for 1 emerald. A bookshelf has 3 books in it. And you can sell 1 book for an emerald. So 1 emerald basically converts to 3 emeralds, and you can do that forever and get infinite emeralds from these librarians. So it's definitely worth having a bookshelf librarian somewhere along your collection. So this can be ours. So once you've done that, make sure you don't break the lever first. If you break the lever first, it'll pull back the workstation, and he will be he'll change his trades again. So always break this first. And then once you're happy with his trade, make sure you trade with him and lock that in. Okay. So you would need an emerald or something to lock in that trade, and then you can move on to your next villager. And you just keep going on down here, filling all of these in until you've got all your villagers in place, happily linked to their workstations. So I've gone ahead and I've finished off putting all the villagers into trading hall. I have traded with all of them, and I've actually zombified and cured most of them as well. So you'll see I'm getting a level of discount. So the only thing to bear in mind is that some discounts are permanent, some aren't. I'm going to move away a little bit, it's a bit noisy. Some discounts are permanent and some aren't. So you'll get a discount from a villager if he sees you, or if he knows that you've cured another zombie villager in the area. So for curing your mates, he'll give you he'll give you a discount. If you've cured a zombie villager, then that villager itself will give you a discount. And there are other things as well which will give discounts, like Hero of the Village and so on. The only one that's permanent is the one you get from curing the zombie villager himself. Okay, so some of the others, you'll see the prices drop quite a long way, but they'll go up again after a time. the discounts from curing are permanent, but you might have to cure these guys up to 5 times to get your maximum discount. And that maximum discount will always be 1 emerald trades. So you can always get to that level. And once you do, it is permanent, barring supply and demand and stuff like that. But I've even had a 1 emerald trade from a villager. I've killed another villager right in front of his face, and he's carried on giving me 1 emerald trades. So that was my experience. But I wouldn't necessarily practice killing villagers on purpose. But, well, I did anyway. So, yes, that's it. That's the farm. One thing just to point out is, of course, you can expand this. So you could have another one opposite here. You could even add some, another one on the back and reuse the same zombie. You could extend the line for zombie around here and into a second row over here if you wanted. Obviously, take him longer to go all the way around, or add a second zombie, up to you. But yeah, so that's it. That's an 8 villager farm. I went for a couple of librarians, and I managed to get myself a mending librarian, which is great. I've gone for Fletcher because he gives cheap trades for sticks to get emeralds. I've gone for an armourer who's selling boots, and another one who's selling chest plates. And I've gone for a cleric to get rid of my rotten flesh, and there's a few useful things that clerics sell later on. A toolsmith to get cheap tools. And finally a cartographer, because they will actually sell you some maps and eventually treasure maps, which are pretty cool. But you decide what you want in yours. If you want a whole bunch of just librarians selling you enchanted books, that's great. If you want a whole load of armourers who'll sell you in diamond boots, chest plates, that's great as well. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching the video. I hope this works really well for you. I think it's a super simple build actually, for something that's extremely powerful once you've got it in your world. Definitely worth the investment. It's a great thing. If you did enjoy it, then drop me a like and think about subscribing to the channel. And if you want to have a go at building the advanced one when I do a tutorial, hopefully in a couple of weeks, if you're watching this real time, or it might already be there. If you're not, then certainly subscribe as well and keep an eye out for that video coming to you. All right, thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.